chess players, and mathematicians. Okay, y'all, we're assuming that a comma b is a solution to this equation, and if this equation has a solution, then that we're trying to show that the b coordinate cannot be even. Okay, now I'm not saying the equation has a solution. I'm saying if it does, b, and that's subtle, b is even though if it does have a solution. Okay, now so let's go ahead and write down what it means for AB to be a solution. This is from the Cartesian product of the integers. Okay, so that'd be minus b cubed equals 7. That's what it means. Probably didn't need to write that down. Okay, so we're trying to show that b is not even. Okay, now we'll go ahead and do a kind of a standard, I guess, proof by contradiction. We're going to show what happens if b is even. Okay, now of course, if b is even, if b is an even number, that means this part would be even. So a squared, a would have to be odd in order for this to be true, right? If this part's even, then the difference of an odd and an even would give you an odd back, right? So this does imply that x is odd. And you can see that I wrote x in the form 2k plus 1, which is this generic odd way to express the integer, okay? And the rest of it's just a rearrangement of this piece right here. Now, when we make the substitutions, now, y'all, I called this 8m. If b is even, technically this would be, let's use another letter here, this would be 8n cubed, right? But the important thing turns out to be that it's just a multiple of 8. Again, folks, if we let x, if b is even, we could call it 2n, right? And then when you cube 2n, you get 8n cubed. But let's just call it 8m. That's more important as it turns out. Okay, 8n cubed or 8m, it's a multiple of 8. Now, if you, right here I didn't show all the work, but if you expand this out, you certainly get 4k squared plus 4k and then 1. Notice how I subtracted that 1 away from the 7 to get the 6 right here. Okay, now the next part, we can take a 4k out of this. Like that. Equals to 8m plus 6. Remember, we're trying to find a contradiction. Now, the contradiction is as follows. Here's a 4 already, right? 1 of k or k plus 1 has to be even. So you see, this is just going to be 8 something. You know, 8, we'll call it, we're running out of letters, 8m. We'll call it m sub 1, okay? And y'all got that right? K times k plus 1, it's a parity thing. One of the two, if k is even, done. If k is odd, then k plus 1 is even, done, right? So what we get here is that something that's a clear contradiction, right? I mean, the left-hand side says this is a multiple of 8. The right-hand side, it says it's a multiple of 8 plus 6, which is impossible. You know, all those remainders have to fall into equivalence classes. Like you either have a remainder of 0, a remainder of 1, a remainder of 2, all the way up to a remainder of 7, right? So this is your contradiction. This is a contradiction right here. Let me, I'll just put it off to the side here. Contradiction. And I'll be lame and just abbreviate that. So that's a contradiction. What does it contradict? It contradicts that we assume that b is even, okay? We assume that b is even and reached this contradiction. Therefore, b is not even. QED time. Good night.